Hi students, welcome back. Let's see the rest of the story, The Castaway. Things take a different turn when Sharat's younger brother Satish comes to spend his vacation with them. Kiran was happy with her brother-in-law and they had a lot of fun together. For the first time, Neelkanta feels neglected by Kiran as she is spending more time with her brother-in-law. Neelkanta now feels he is not at all important in the family. He would often become angry and beat his gang members, kick his pet dog, or smash the leaves and the branches of trees with his canes. Kiran now did not find time to serve meals to Neelkanta. Sometimes he would say he is not hungry, hoping that Kiran would persuade him to eat, but she said nothing. He would then go to his room and cry. He thought Satish played some trick on her to make her angry with him. Neelkanta wanted to take revenge on Satish. He removed the soap when Satish was taking bath and he threw his clothes up in the air as if blown by wind. Once, Kiran asked Neelkanta to entertain Satish with his theatrical skills, but he said he did not remember anything. Now they all decide to return home. They pack things. Nobody asks Neelkanta to go with them. Later, Kiran proposes to take him with them, but all others strongly oppose the idea. Kiran then tells him to go back to his home. He cries and so Kiran decides to take him with her. Satish is very angry and tells Kiran that Nilkanta is clever enough to find a way to soften her heart with a tear or two. She is so good and trustful that she falls for the trick. Nilkanta now thinks of doing something against Satish. Satish had brought a grand ornamental inkstand from Calcutta. It was his most favorite item. He cleaned it every day with great care. Suddenly, the inkstand was missing. Satish thought it was Neelkanta who has stolen it and beats him up badly. Kiran tells Neelkanta to return the inkstand if he has taken it, but he knelt down, weeping bitterly. There was a big argument between Kiran on one side and Sharath and Satish on the other. Satish wanted to search Neelkanta's room, but Kiran cried and said he should not do it. Kiran felt sorry for the poor Neelkanta. She wanted to give him a surprise present. She got two new suits of clothes, a pair of shoes, and a banknote. She wanted to place them in Neelkanta's box and surprise him. When she opened Neelkanta's box, it was fully packed and she started pulling out things to place her gift in the box. To her great surprise, she sees the missing inkstand there. Neelkanta was standing behind her and he felt as if he was hit by a hammer on his head. He had taken the inkstand as an act of revenge to Satish. He wanted to throw it into the river, but there was no way he could convince Kiran, who thought Neelkanta was a thief. He left the room without Kiran noticing him. Kiran sighed deeply and kept the gift on top and closed the box. The next day, Neelkanta was nowhere to be found. Even the police could not find him. Sharath wanted to search Neelkanta's box, but Kiran strongly opposed the idea, and so he had to withdraw. She took the instant and threw it in the river. The family returned to their house, but the mongrel dog wandered along the riverbank with heartbreaking whines. Now it's time for reading. It was hard to tell his age from his face and his acts. His hairless, innocent face said he was about 14, but the smoke and words gushed out from his mouth suggested he was beyond 17. But everyone treated him as a small boy. He showed the first signs of adulthood when he hesitated to be a lady companion to Kiran and to play the earlier feminine roles he had played. But his role as an acolyte to Kiran defended anything that came against him in the house. He had nothing to think about other than entertaining Kiran with his diverse performances. Kiran's effort to inculcate some scholastic elements in him turned into ashes as the destitute young figured out that even the alphabets were dancing in the mist in front of his eyes. But he developed the skill of casting his eyes blank on a page in the book for hours as if reading it. He would read it aloud when a hint of human presence is somewhere around him. Even though it sounded perfect with full of shuffling alliteration, the feeblest meaning was beyond his comprehension. He felt everything to become music around him. The past life of the theatrical slave before the storm had completely faded out from his memory. The enchanting nature and the soothing presence of Kiran, who took up the roles of his sister and mother combined, became the music of his song. And off from her, he would bring dozens of fresh complaints from his neighbors that eventually led to Sharat cuffing him. His spoiled followers would then come in search of him for some new ways of mischief. At the time Sharat's younger brother Satish came to spend vacation with them, Kiran was overjoyed by the presence of her brother-in-law of the same age. Both always on the move, rollicking with pearls of laughter, she would ride Monkey with vermilion on his back, and he put pepper among her betel. Meanwhile, no one knew how a cloud of unexplained wilderness hovered over Nilkanta. He would thrash his devotees for no reason and kick his pet mongrel or smash the leaves and twigs harshly with the canes. After Satish's arrival, Kiran had seldom got much time to spare serving Nilkanta's meals, which he had been doing so generously as he had an immense capacity of eating. After that, he left the hall without eating much. He would repeatedly say, "I'm not hungry," thinking that it would bring Kiran to press him to finish. That didn't happen. Soaking the pillow with his sobs became a usual occurrence. He jumped into the conclusion that some venomous trick of Satish had made her angry against him. Satish didn't notice his covert ways of avenge even though his soap disappeared from the steps of the bathing place or his dress floated past him as if blown by the wind. One day Kiran called Nilkanta to entertain Satish. He kept mum and said that he couldn't remember anything. The decision to return home made everyone busy packing up. Satish was going with them, but Nilkanta remained unasked. Later, Kiran's proposal of taking him with them was strongly opposed by the other members of the family. Finally, Kiran softly advised him to go back to his own home. This unexpected kindness made him burst into tears. Kiran couldn't stop joining him, but Satish was terribly annoyed at the sight of this and said, "That brat has cleverly discovered a way to soften your heart with a tear or two, because you are too good and trustful." Nilkanta left the spot with a bleeding heart, seriously thinking about how to burn Satish into ashes. Satish had brought a grand inkstand with him, his great favorite from Calcutta. The inkspot was set on a pearl board drawn by a silver goose supporting a pen holder. Every day he cleaned it with added care. The day before they were about to depart, the inkstand was missing. Satish was furious and pounced upon the boy, shouting, "You have stolen my inkstand, you thief!" Nilkanta wobbled towards the wall with a swollen heart and head. Kiran was greatly distressed at the scene and took him to another room and suggested, "Neelu, if you have taken it, I shall keep it there and block anyone making further fuss." To this, Nilkanta knelt down weeping bitterly. A fierce battle of words followed between Kiran on one side and Sharat and Satish on the other. Satish wanted to search his room and she responded violently with tears, "You dare that, at once settle the matter." Kiran's heart overflowed with pity on the homeless lad. She got 2 new suits of clothes, a pair of shoes, and a banknote, and wanted to place them into his box as a surprise gift. When she unlocked the box, the lid suddenly sprang up with all those petty things jumbling. The gift would not go in. She started pulling out everything to place them in order. There at the bottom came a layer of linen, and under it emerged the missing inkstand, goose and all. Kiran stood helplessly with the inkstand puzzled. Behind Kiran stood Nilkanta, shocked as if he was hit by a heavy hammer on his head. His last hope of proving him not a thief hit the dust. Actually, he took the inkstand as a revenge to throw it into the river. Now there is no way to convincing his mistress. He somehow managed to leave the room without Kiran noticing him. Kiran, with a deep sigh, placed them back in the box well, the gift on top of all, and closed the box. The next day, the boy was nowhere to be found. Even the police couldn't find him. Sharat asked for searching in his box to know more about him, but Kiran's refusal forced him to withdraw. She took the missing things and threw them in the river. Though the family returned to their own home, Nilkanta's starving mongrel prowled along the river bank with heartbreaking whines. So students, there ends the story. Read the textbook well. Thank you.